The first one is about spending a weekend with your good mates, smoking up, not doing very much else. Nothing could exist in this room, this nuclear room with its nuclear fumes, but spilled from ashtrays like graveyard earthquake skeletal ash strewn carefully across the floor. Beer cans rust prematurely in this, our weekend wasteland. The low hum of overheating electrics is the cricket buzz to our humid night. Outside lights denied entry by border control blinds stifling diversity in the dark. Time and space do not exist in accordance with the withered organs of this internal. Tomorrow is a year from now, or it could have already passed. Cockroaches would cease to be if they were to join our outfit, return to their maker in a blitz of head-spinning tea smoke. Nothing exists in this room. The clock on the wall ticked its final tock, 2:39 a.m. or p.m, it doesn't really matter. Batteries have bled out from exhaustion. 6 faces share the same expression, the same face. Androgynous death licks at the corners of 6 mouths, eyes sink deep, stare blank, weep dryly. Food rots eerily in piles on the table, devolving into carbon mounds and finally into the starless atmos of our panoramic ceiling. The chug, chug, chug of our one heartbeat is imperceptible, it may as well halt altogether. Resistance to decay is futile, the degradation all-encompassing and easier to embrace, warmer and safer, in fact. The door has locked itself, given up on the possibility of seeing further use, but now it does not matter, for there is no life left in limbs with which to try to handle. We sit, lie, naked to our mortal coil, lifeblood ebbing from our faces, intoxicated by the promise of eternal nothingness. Wire-spring beds house our bony bodies, leather trappings long worn away, comfort being an earthly and thus unnecessary quality. Transcendental is this room, this carcass, this shell. We accept non-existence as easily as what we once accepted existence. We are the distasteful decor, happy if happiness can be tainted so in our nuclear room with its nuclear fumes. Thanks. So the next one, don't really know what it's called at the moment, but I'll call it Voices for now. I've turned you into literature, don't think I won't obliterate you in tongue, you muttering devils, you insufferable consciousness, you great untold story. My mind is your apocalypse, your landscape, my turf. I walk you in anguish, you muttering devils. You squabbling children, painted finger, painted war, painted heathen, apostates of my soul, I have none but for you. The ends of my earth teeter on your call, my blind muses, my hungry, hungry larvae, my blossoming visit. You muttering devils, you penny dreadful gin-joint coughs of blood on tissue, torn grey matter tissue. You starved and terrible bodies of tangled limbs, you creaking cartilages. My rattling skull is your stage, my soliloquies your echoes. You muttering devils, you insufferable consciousness. You hibernating winter wolves, howling, 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 howl. My final act is your encore, stage prop my idols up in cocktail stick crucifix, you lucid dream thieves. Turning my words to ashes. War-weary, world-weary, shoulder bearers of the earth and cosmos, you are history as it tumbles, the decadence of my obituary nightmares. You muttering devils. You vampiric parasites, you give in one instance all the joy of life and in the next replace pain with ugly conclusion. You pans of anxiety-riddled depravity and tumorous hope. You great angels in Molochian garb. You false prophets, preachers of my visions. You sons and daughters, brothers and sisters of angel-headed hipsters. My journey ends as yours begins. My road is your sidewalk and still I have no direction. I am homeless of myself. My starlit plains are your blank canvases. My everything is your everything. Your everything is our nothing. You muttering devils. You endless pitfalls, you insomniac snares. I could obliterate you, couldn't I? Couldn't I? My drunk withdrawal, unsteady hand come down, fumbling in the dark and dirty streets of lost cities, rat-infested underbellies of concrete maneuverings, you insufferable consciousness. Your rattlesnake warnings are merely a formality, a handshake, arsenic prick, a bite before your bark. I would choose the blue pill. If I woke, I would die. If I wake, I should die. I am awake and I'm surely dead. The chalkboard nail scrapings of your siren call have left visible marks. I would erase them, but you've erased the eraser, you clever bastards. You muttering devils. You insufferable consciousness, I have turned you into literature. I could let you obliterate me, don't think I couldn't. I would let you obliterate me, but I know that I shouldn't, and for now I won't. Still, I hear your sharply inhaled sneer, your petition for a truth you already know, because you, my synaptic bruises, you created it. You muttering devils, you've taken my all. You insufferable consciousness, here, have the last. It's not that I shan't. Indeed, my great untold story begins with 3 words: I simply can't. One more. It's called The Sublime or My Existential Crisis. It's like this. I'm on a beach and there's no one else around, not a bird in the sky nor seashell on shore. Even the boy's reflection in the rock pools doesn't seem present yet. Still, I'm not alone. See, 100 feet out there's this 100-foot wave, pebble dashed with houses, boats and high-rises, coated in translucent varnish, glimmering and glittering against the ever-diminishing skyline. And for every square metre of this island surrounding me, there's 10 miles breadth to this monstrous phantom. Not one of its decorative dwellings is inhabited, because on this plane I'm the only fucking passenger, but this time around that's quite alright, because I bought a pair of wings and I'm pretty sure I'll fly. I'm on a beach, where the sands cut glass but my toes sink in all the same. And I'm not sure if the warmth is pain, because the two are often hard to separate. But either way, my feet come up callus-free, and I'm pleasantly surprised, though the wearer of my clothes doesn't seem to bat an eye. 100 feet out, there's this 100-foot wave, and you can be sure it's moving closer. I can tell, because the sun is setting Parma violet across its horizon, playing a softly sung elegy to the rising moon. 10 times as big as I've ever seen it, and yet still no sign of life. Yeah, you can be sure that wave is coming. But it still looks miles away, so I guess I better make plans for later, because there's still so much I want to do. But before I remember, islands don't stock stationery, or that I've forgotten how to write. The thought strikes me that it wouldn't matter if I wrote them down anyway. See, on this drop in the ocean, the only one to drop is I, alone but for my thoughts, and they'll berate me for the plans I make anyway. I'm on a beach, and 50 feet out is this 100-foot wave, except I realise my perception must be shoddy, because now it seems bigger. Because now it's big enough to see into the windows of those surfboard houses where the furniture remains stationary because I nailed it to the floor in preparation for such an occasion. Because now it's big enough to hear its throbbing hearts faint but bold enough to drown out the sound of my own. I'm on a beach as it starts to expand. The sand covering my torso blushes, stripped head to toe of turquoise dress, and I tell it not to be so bashful because it still looks so goddamn beautiful underneath it all. Yeah, I would tell it not to be so bashful, if only I could unclog my throat of these strangled lungs. I'm on a beach, and just a few feet out is this 100-foot wave, and like every 20-something stuck on an island with everything behind him and nothing in front, I kind of start to panic. If a they exists somewhere, a they to find my bones, sea salt bleached and battered, how will they ever know that those remains once propped up skin and flesh, carried the burden of thought and worry, endured both pain and pleasure, allowed for dreams and just a sliver of hope? Couldn't they piece them together like they did for the dinosaurs? Work out my eye colour, the parting of my hair, the way my hands shake when I try to roll the smoke, and the way they subside on mine hill? The neurosis grey matter once occupying a skull now added to a pile of unclaimed others, how will they ever know that once there was more to me than bone? I'm on a beach, ocean spray licking my eyelashes, and with each squinted blink there's this immeasurable wave, one more foot closer. It's roaring but not angry, screaming at me in whale call code which when I try to decipher bursts my fucking eardrums. They throb for a lifetime in which I hear it all again. The summer morning whispers of wind and the sound of a mother singing. The otherworldly playground mania and pensive crackling of frosted mud underfoot. The silence of not just love, but more importantly, comfort. And breakdown, white noise, TV, static crackling and popping, breathing into life, the clack of lights, the applause of an audience, and then there's silence. I find myself on an island, balanced like a ballerina on the last surviving grain of sand as the 7 seas of planet Earth muster up against me. In a second, I'll be Jetson. No more, no less, with not a word nor letter of a bottled message to show for it. But that's all right, because just then, in the shadow of a monster, my fateful towering monolith. Just then I heard the sublime, and I felt its lasting touch. And it's like this. I'm standing at the end, full with one last breath, as the waves whisper to me from white and frothing death, who the fuck are you? I'll answer that I'm no one, because at least that much is true. I'm no one and I'm happy, because I've seen the end and it's quiet and free of all that stress. So I'll welcome it like Begbie and cry out, fucking yes!